I think you have to get out of your comfort zone. You know, as an athlete, you're used to doing something, and it's the same thing every day. You're training, 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 and then all of a sudden, someone throws a balance sheet or an income statement in front of you, and you go, "I have no idea what this thing is saying." And I think you got to kind of get out of that. I'm an athlete. I don't have to worry about that stuff. But the more you know about these things, whether it's marketing or sponsorship or communications or all these things, it adds like quivers in your, you know, your arrows here, be able to provide value back to wherever it is you do go. So if you can have your athlete voice, but then you also are able to read a balance sheet and say, hey, wait a second, our finances aren't looking good. All of a sudden you're a double player. And I think the more of those skill sets that you can learn that are outside of what you would typically feel comfortable in, and whether it's taking courses because you don't know how to read an income statement, doing stuff that you wouldn't necessarily come across in your day-to-day living, just it opens a whole bunch of doors that probably wouldn't be there for you in the first place.
I think that risk, I believe that the greatest rewards come from the greatest risks, or the greatest rewards come from the greatest challenges. And if being out there, putting yourself out there, being more of a vocal component or helping somebody you don't know before is risky or challenging for you, and then you accomplish it, it's probably more rewarding. So the greater the barrier, know that on the other side there's a bigger pot of gold, however you want to look at it. So it's that realization that, yeah, it might be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but you have to take that first step to try. And I guess there's that saying, you don't know if you don't try. So you got to if you give it a go and you don't like it, well, maybe that's not for you. But I think the people that do get involved generally end up meeting great people, and it's a worthwhile expenditure for sure.
You know, failure is a part of growing and getting better. And I think if you don't experience that, how then do you appreciate the good side, the winning, and even just being able to put your best foot forward and saying, you know I gave it everything I possibly could give. And sometimes that produces the gold medal, and sometimes it produces the product or the event or whatever you're putting on at that particular moment in time, and you're walking away saying, yeah, you know, that was a keeper. That's the one I'm gonna remember doing and sort of forget the one maybe where you stumbled.
Well, I think taking a risk is important, but you also want to make sure you're creating an environment that's going to be safe for them to take those risks too, and let them know that regardless of the outcome, they aren't failures. Having them understand that, you know, this is part of your development as an individual. It's part of a growth as a human being and becoming better at no matter what it is you do. You're going to have to take risks at some point in time, be it in a sports situation, you know, your home situation or work situation. No matter what you want to do, at some point you're going to have to take some risks, big or small. The bigger the risks, the bigger the payoff, but there's also the bigger the potential for not succeeding. But you can't let not succeeding be a detriment to your growth as an individual. You have to I guess, experiment with life is what it really comes down to, isn't it? Is taking those chances, taking those risks, and being supported by a group of individuals, be it coaches or other athletes, who are really going to say, you know, you tried, but it didn't work out, but that's not a problem. You learned this and this and this from it. And I think it's going to be those learnings that are really going to create a stronger individual. And a coach is going to be the one that's going to provide them the opportunity to take those risks in a safe environment and be there to catch them if they fall, and support them when they need it. So risks is, I mean, it's a part of life, you know, and I think the more risks you take, the more you're going to learn and the bigger the payoffs in the end.